The human senses are finely tuned. Most of us see, sense and hear the same things. But adults often let worldly experience affect their reactions. The human brain kicks in to offer logic and explanation, sometimes even before we react. Not so the young. The innocence of youth makes them far more receptive to all kinds of things. Things like ghosts. A home video. A little girl caught unawares. And maybe something else caught unawares as well. To most of us, it might look like a flash of light. But to one family, it's proof they have a ghost in residence. A friendly female ghost. And when you hear what's been going on around here, you might just agree. The house was built early this century, and when Annette and Vern Schrappel first saw it, they wanted it. But after living there for 18 months, the Schrappels are now convinced their dream home is, in fact, a haunted house. Their suspicions began with the feeling that every now and then they weren't exactly alone. Then there was a strange smell, like an exotic perfume. And weird as it may seem, it only ever appeared when their daughter Jordan was in the room.
Jordan had finally settled down. She wasn't well, and I was watching her, laying there, and I rolled over, and as soon as I rolled over, I just felt the strongest smell of perfume. And, well, that's when I decided it wasn't perfume, it was actually talcum powder, because it wasn't the right smell for a perfume, it was a talcum powder.
The Schrappels have called this presence Ghosty, a ghost that somehow seems to follow Jordan around the house.
On very rare occasions, you'll hear her talking to somebody, and it's a direct conversation that's actually occurring.
One night, though, there was more than just a one-way conversation. Jordan was alone in her cot. Annette and Vern were in the room next door.
We actually were sitting around a dining room table, and we heard this music playing, harmonica playing, E-I-E-I-O. And Jordan was singing along with this music at the time. And but the moment that conversation stopped, 3 bars later, the music stopped. So it was something that was going on between Ghosty and Jordan.
She doesn't at all attempt to answer any questions that you ask about who is your friend in your room or in the house. She goes very quiet. I mean, you ask her about anybody else and she'll rattle things off. If you ask her about who's your friend, no, she doesn't answer.
A rambling old house with an invisible guardian. A guardian that sometimes is a little overprotective. A friend of the Schrappels, Kayleen Bowdren, found that out when she stayed with Jordan in her room one night.
I've suddenly felt someone really close to me, like right on top of me, and after a period of time, I felt someone was actually trying to tug at me, but it wasn't tugging at me in the sense of my clothes, it was actually tugging at something inside of me. So I opened my eyes, and of course there was no one in the room, but I looked up to the corner of the room, and there was a light. And from the position of the light and the actual length of the light, it reminded me of a candle. So it was a candle, and it was like someone was pointing it at me to say, "Get out." That was when I left the room and thought, well, someone obviously doesn't want me in the room with Jordan while she's sleeping.
That night was not the only time Kayleen's felt the presence of the ghost. And other guests have also been in the house when she's made her presence felt.
If you have a lot of people in the house, we find that what we call she's very active. people could leave and you're still here and you feel a presence there. Or even while there's still a lot of people in the house, you can walk into a particular room and think, ghost, you know, she's around somewhere. She's not trying to do any harm to me or anyone else. She's just there to look over Jordan, and so I'm quite happy with that. I don't mind that if that's what she's there for. She's not harmful after my experience in Jordan's room, so she's not going to harm me.
Which brings us back to the video. It was taken here by another of the Schrappels' friends, Helen Stevens, who was taking a few candid shots of Jordan.
So I was just videoing down the hallway when this flash of white light appeared, and was really shocked because I didn't know what it was. It was very bright, and nobody that was sitting next to me saw it at all, and we were quite shocked. And I just wanted to know what it was. Did anyone see it? And Annette just casually said, "Oh, that must be our ghost."
At normal speed, blink and you'll miss the flash of light. But you'll see Helen drop the camera in surprise and hear the audio faintly in the background.
I saw a flash of white light. I don't know where.
No, it'd be the ghost. It's not the ghost.
Slow the tape down though, and you can definitely see a light, which Helen says was brighter than a flashbulb. Vern and Annette Schrappel have replayed the tape many, many times, trying to pin down Jordan's friend, Ghosty.
On replay, the most astounding thing was that Jordan looked up before this light happened. And then it happened, and like we're just going, oh, you know, what's that? And then you can see Jordan playing it in slow motion, just trying to follow the light back through the track it took across in front of her. But like she was a bit slow because obviously it moved so fast.
In case you're wondering, Helen is certain her camera wasn't faulty and that there was no other light source in the room. But just to check, we showed the tape to a video expert. He tested it and could find no technical explanation for the flash.
It's like there's a guardian for Jordan where Jordan's concerned there's somebody around her. And so, like, you know, it was just, oh, there is. We got you on video. How amazing.
If there is a guardian, a friendly ghost, who is she? Well, that's a mystery. The Schrappels have researched the history of the house, but have found no definite clues. Nevertheless, they believe that Jordan will always be safe while that ghostly babysitter is around to watch over her.